The very best character of Silent Hill F is a character who is not there for the main story pretty much at all. It's Hinako's older sister, Junko, who is there at the very start and at the very end of the game. So what she is the figure of the superego. So she is just like the mystery man of Lynch's Lost Highway and the cowboy in Mulholland Drive. Very pointedly, the F of Silent Hill F is a confrontation with our superego. The superego is voice. F, fortissimo, loud. All of these monsters in Silent Hill with their terrible screaming and in-your-face quality, especially the bride figure, who makes this constant loud shrieking that just is debilitating. So it's about facing this voice and persisting through it. Nicely, what Silent Hill F can do with its multiple endings is keep working through this relationship with the superego again and again at different stages in order to really dramatize how we can relate to our superego and break out of its hold. When we are introduced to Junko at the beginning, she is the older sister who's gone off to be married, and Hinako is a high school student that we don't yet realize is betrothed to be married and doesn't want to be, is struggling with her own personal freedom. So we start the game holding a blonde doll, and then we see our sister, and we have this bittersweet encounter that's affectionate but alienated. And then we don't see her again until we've gone deeper into the game, and we all of a sudden are in a room where there's a phone call, which is effectively like engaging the voice of the superego. The superego is a voice that cuts into the fabric of reality and demands for us to do what it says. So we get a call, and it's Hinako's mother saying, "Come have dinner." So there's a solace to that, but there's also an injunction to go have dinner. And then we're introduced to Junko again in the Silent Hill world, where she is now this corpse-like bride figure with a mask that's got a horrible beak shape to it. And she's speaking enigmatically about our own freedom. She's introducing us to this idea that, we have this choice to make, but you must make it. So we get that pressure from the superego that presents us with our very own freedom, but demands that we capitulate to it. And this demand unfurls as we get deeper into the game, because when we play through the game and we play it through again, this dialogue changes, and it becomes very clear what she's saying, what she wants, this superego sister figure. She wants us to brutally unalive our friends, and then furthermore, once we do that and cut off that tie to our childhood friends, she wants us to turn against our own desire for freedom and capitulate to her fully. So it's with the 4 different endings of Silent Hill F that we achieve new relations towards our superego. The first one in the game, we are taking the drugs that Shu has been giving us, and so when we're confronted by our superego sister figure, she is befuddled and confused and unable to even talk to us. And in a haze, we meet the violent version of ourselves, this wife monster figure, and we fall apart in violence and destruction. So the superego clearly is necessary for a consistency of self. It's not just the force of society's pressure on us, even though society's pressure takes advantage of our superegos. Like, that's the point of connection, right? Society is making us do this thing, but we experience it through our own superegos, this outside voice demanding that we do what we must do. So there's a positive aspect to the superego, even if we need to keep it at bay. We need to not let it be in full control of us. Now, the second story, the bad ending, we get to the way in which the superego wins. So we're told to give in to the superego, to give in to our fate, and we get the superego figure transforming into the triumph of our wolf figure, our transformed Hinako into the bride of Kotoyuki, the fox mask guy. So our version of ourselves that wants freedom is quashed and ousted as though it were a demon. And when we do the work of the superego, we get this peace and enjoyment that comes at the full cost of our genuine freedom. And that's why at that ending, we get this horrific image of Hinako's face severed on the ground, screaming for freedom and being squashed. So when we give in to the superego, we are, that freedom that we're told we have to make a choice with at the very beginning of seeing our superego as Junko. We make that confrontation and we shirk back in order to give our freedom over to our superego, let it take over, and then we get a blissful enjoyment through doing so and turning away from our freedom that comes at the cost of our freedom. So it really depicts giving into the superego perfectly, how the way in which the outside voice telling us what to do becomes ourselves. We no longer feel that pressure from our freedom, that freedom has been ousted. So that alone makes it for a wonderful story. You could end it right there, but we don't. We keep going. With the third ending, we get a very different tone out of Junko. She's trying to be sweet and sympathetic and saying, wouldn't it be better if you just gave in to the superego and do what you're supposed to do? You'll be much happier. And we stop that voice in its tracks with the defense formation of the doll figure. So Junko freezes. This is different from how she isn't able to connect with us anymore. So we do get distance from the superego by choosing our freedom, but that superego threat is still there, and the freedom that we get is still in this defensive relation toward the superego. So we haven't given up the way in which the superego has a thrall over us. It's still something we have to keep holding off with our defense formation doll figure. Now, the fourth ending, the true ending, is where things really take off, because we see Junko and she is herself fully confused, lost. So she doesn't even have a function anymore. She's there, but she's not telling us what to do. And we use the doll, and so the radical thing is the doll formation still stops Junko in her tracks, not as a hold back, stop, but as an afterthought. The doll's on our shoulder now as we walk past, and so we're leaving our superego fully behind. Wonderfully. But we have to go further than that. So when we're fighting the boss figures, we have the fox god we're fighting, but the version of ourselves that wants freedom is fighting the doll figure itself. So it's the boss that's the same as her best friend Shu, except instead of Shu being on the inside, it's that doll figure. This figure of our childhood, the thing we're trying to keep precious, our innermost self against all of this stuff pushing in on the world. It's fantastic. We defeat the defense formation that keeps us as we are, and that's the only thing that pushes us through to being a new person on the other side of things, where we're in Ebisagoka. It's a hard word. But we're in the town of Silent Hill afterward with both versions of ourselves, both versions that are incompatible, but both of us. So part of our position. We get to that silence where the superego is no longer barking at us what to do. It's just diminished and gone. So it's not defeated, it's neutralized. That's the wonderful thing we get in Silent Hill. So we get these cuts in these Lynchian films, the Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive, that push us to destruction. But it's only in Silent Hill F where we break out of that destruction and get on the other side, where we find a way to break out of the thrall of the superego, break out of its cycle of enjoyment and giving over our freedom to it, and no longer need it. It's not there barking at us. That's so radical. That's amazing. Like, to be able to depict that in fiction and go through the entire process from beginning to end. So good. I can't stress it enough.